So there is definitely a skills shortage in motorsport at the moment, partly due to Brexit, but also due to COVID, when a lot of Europeans went back home, and some of them would rather not come back, to be honest, because they're a bit wary of what might happen in the UK in the future. So they're kind of, they're not as comfortable coming as they used to be. So we've got this shortage in certain areas, and it's high-tech and low-tech areas really. So it's a bit of simulation, high-end simulation, for example, and mathematical modelling, those kind of things we've got a shortage in. Things like composites still, the design engineers, 3D design engineers, this kind of thing, for 3D printing. But also the old school skills like titanium welding and fabrication, they're not kind of being taught like they used to be, so we've got a real skill shortage there. And things like also wiring harness builders. There's quite a lot of areas that we've really got skills gaps in, and it's difficult to know how to fill those immediately. It's because they take time to learn the skills, and it's partly down to, of course, to universities and education and learning different modules and so on. So I think for anybody that is looking to get into motorsport, to work in motorsport, some of the most important elements are obviously a good education, whether it be university or colleges, whether it be online or at a traditional university. Particularly ones that offer hands-on experience. A lot of universities do now help you out to get hands-on experience, because that's really important when you come to get a job at the end of your degree course, and you come to somebody like me and say, right, I'm ready for a job now, and I say, okay, great, you've got a degree, you've got your piece of paper, what else have you done? Because that's what the employees ask me, that's the phrase they use, what else have they done? So if you can be volunteering alongside your education, whilst you're getting your education, that would really help. And also to try and fine-tune where you want to work in motorsport. There's loads of different areas. There's composites, there's a simulation. I mean, fundamentally, there's trackside and factory. Do you want to travel with the team around the country or around the world, or do you want to be factory-based? So all these decisions to be made, and it makes my life a lot easier if you come to me and say, I want to work in suspension design, or I want to work in simulation, or whatever it might be. And you've got some experience for that because of your course and because of your volunteering work. It makes it a lot easier for me to go to employers and say, this guy's already hit the ground running because he's done a lot of volunteering, he's got a lot of experience in this already. For a junior role, you're a really good fit and you can walk straight in. And so it's definitely possible to transition into motorsport from other industries, the obvious ones being automotive, aerospace, that kind of thing, because the technology is very similar, they're very high-tech industry, so it's quite possible to transition in there. But most industries, if it's an engineering background that you've got, then I have to say probably 80% of jobs in motorsport are engineering based in one way or the other, whether it's electronics, electrics, engineering is fundamental to the whole concept of the car. And aerodynamics, of course. I mean, if you're coming from aerospace with aerodynamics experience, then that's really important, and that's really useful for a motorsport vacancy that we might have. So it's very, very much is appropriate to come into motorsport from another high-tech industry. So don't be afraid that it feels like it's a bit of a gentleman's club at first when you try to get into motorsport, and it feels like the doors are locked to you. But once you get in, once you be patient and don't lose heart, and once you get in, the whole world of motorsport opens up before you, and you can step through the different vacancies until you get the one that you really want. People do come to me and say that they can't find a job in motorsport even though they've got the degree, and I think I'm not saying it's easy, it's really not easy, but you've got to put yourself out there, and this is the key. So you've got your degree, but you really need to put yourself out there. Go to race meetings, walk up and down the paddock, knock on the back of the pit garages, have a little sheet made about what you've done and what you want to achieve. Give it out to everybody with your number on it and everything. And you've got to make it. Nobody's going to do it for you at the end of the day. You've got to make it happen. We've all been in this boat, and we've all got to make it happen. So either go to your local teams and see if you can volunteer there. That'll lead into maybe a full-time job with them. Go to the racetracks. And it's a case of who dares wins, and it may not be very British to knock on doors and ask for things, but you've got to do it. If you really want it and you're passionate about it, that comes through when you start talking to somebody, and they'll give you a chance, and that's all you need, because once you've got the foot in the door, you're away.